What's going on, everybody? You know who it is? Kevin with Custom Night Vision, here with Jeff, our good friend at Nocturn Industries. What's going on here? New products.
All right, so well, let's start with the Talon.
Okay.
So this is our version of a PVS 14. This will be coming out very soon, a couple months, not even. The circuit board, the housing, everything's already done.
Okay.
So now it's just ramping up to production. So some things about this that are different than others. We have a single control system. You still have an illuminator, you have gain, all that stuff, and it's an EGAC standard plug-in, so no more
Nice.
adapters and stuff. The battery is able to be adapted by simply changing these caps. So you got AA, AAA, CR123A, and a CR2, which is this one, which makes it really small.
Yeah, the little tiny one, right?
The way that this functions, you have a press and hold to turn it on and off.
Okay.
And just like the Manticore.
Yeah.
But instead of having individual buttons like you do on, well, it's not this one, but the Manticore, it's one control system. So then you have gain adjustment. If you double tap, the IR turns on.
Okay.
And then that automatically switches so that when you turn the gain adjustment, the illuminator will be able to be adjusted up and down.
Oh.
So if you're reading or doing admin work or repairing a tire or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if you need more illumination, you're doing navigation or something like that, you can turn it on. And then a single tap to turn the illuminator back off. It will remember
Does this have little like subtensions in it? Oh, I like that. It's got like a tactile click for the different gain adjustments.
And then it will remember that position that you left it at. So when you go back to the illuminator, it'll be at that same spot.
Nice.
And then when you go back to gain, when you power it off, it'll remember the gain setting you were at when you power back on. And it automatically switches so that when you turn the knob, the gain adjusts.
Yeah, that's cool.
For agencies and government, there is a built-in auto shut-off when you stow, but it is not programmed into the goggle. You know how we feel about that. We don't believe that that's a good feature to have because of dynamic shooting environments. You don't want to accidentally have your night vision turn off if you're like shooting up a staircase.
Yeah.
But it's in there. If it's a requirement, we have it.
Yeah.
Same with the highlight sensor. It is built into the system. It's not included. It's not installed. But if it's necessary for a contract, it can be configured to do that at the factory, and we can add that in there. So that's something that's built into this and the Raptor.
Neat.
So we can cover all ground as far as contract requirements go for
all the
LED.
silly things that the government thinks it needs.
Yes.
Yes.
But this is currently the ruggedized version. There will be an injection molded version later.
So the similar to the binoculars you're offering now with the katana ruggedized and then the injection molded.
We can get to market faster.
Yeah.
Injection molded takes longer, but at the end of the day, the injection molded, in my opinion, is a higher quality product because the material we're using is lighter weight, very rugged, very strong, and it lowers the price too.
Yeah.
But for those of you who need something that's overkill, ruggedized is the way to go.
Man, I've been a big fan of the injection molded katana. I think that really knocked it out of the park with that.
Thank you.
The fit, finish, the weight. I mean, the ruggedized stuff is cool too, but I just really don't think it's as necessary as it once was.
You can still throw it across a room.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how durable do you need it to be? I'd rather the housing break than damage a tube. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not that. Can I grab this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not that I can see this thing breaking anywhere, but yeah, these things are pretty badass. Anyway.
So that material is the same material we're using for all of our other stuff.
The injection molded stuff.
Yep.
It feels really nice too. We did a video on this and I was commenting on it's different than a lot of the injection molded plastics or I don't know, this like resin filled type stuff that a lot of other companies in the industry use.
So we're using the new material. Most companies use...
It just feels good. Like you want to like, ooh, that's nice. I like that.
Most companies are using Ultim, like glass-filled Ultim.
Okay, yeah.
We switched. This is a nylon material and it's a carbon fill.
Okay.
And the tensile strength is slightly higher than 1661. It's an upgrade to what the traditional materials are.
So tensile strength slightly higher than, if you're unaware, 6061 is aluminum. So that's stronger than, kind of 6061 isn't the strongest aluminum, but it is an aircraft grade aluminum, is it not? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So tough stuff.
Moving on from the Talon. Well, actually, there's a little more about this. So there will be a Gen 2 Tonto. It's just an upper for this. That's a Tonto upper. So we will have injection molded only. It'll be the Gen 2 Tonto. So replace the 3D printed one. Basically, all it is just a CR123A upper for this, just with a push button cap that
Yeah.
work with the die shoe.
Cool.
So we're supporting that product line as well. And then moving on to the Raptor. So what you have here is the same pod that's on the Talon. So if you so wished and you had a Talon and you bought another one, you could buy just the bridge and you can attach it to this and turn it into a full goggle. This is designed as a dedicated goggle, which just so happens that because we're using a 4-pin EGAC,
Yep.
the pods have to be separated now instead of being the monolithic design we've traditionally done.
Yep.
So we're using the same pod, which means these are interchangeable. There's no reason to design different ones.
Yeah.
Make
Why
a
not?
family. So
With the same. I mean, this is getting pretty common. The 4, bolt or 4-screw interface with a bridge to a pod. I mean, it gives you a lot of flexibility to go from something like this to this, or the Tonto adapter. You can kind of move everything through your product range. It's neat.
exactly. The purge will not hold no, so you'll have to repurge it. Once these are collimated, you could pull these off and put the upper on it again, and
Which is not the end of the world, everybody. If you don't have like a fresh nitrogen purge in your device, it's not the end of the world.
as long as it's dry, you're good.
Yeah, as long as you take this apart like in an air-conditioned environment, you're fine.
And once you put it back, collimation will be the same. So you'll be
Nice.
same, auto shut off when you articulate. Same deal there. Same warranty on everything. Lifetime warranty. The same controls as the Talon. So when you go to this, it's the same control suite, same features, same functions. Interchangeable battery caps, so that you can have different batteries. New IPD system. It's not on here, but the way that the new IPD system works, you can see that little notch sticking out. I don't know if they can see that, but there's a wheel here that goes this way, and it translates like a screw. The whole thing moves, and what that does is that it changes the stop point of that rotating feature.
Interesting.
So it's a hard stop. It's not
Yeah.
a soft stop like the other systems.
Yeah.
We're planning on moving
Like
forward
a suggested stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Term
That's what the other
suggestion.
one really is.
Yeah.
So this one, that's what we're planning on moving forward with. If for some reason we can't, we'll just have the old IPD system on it. But that's what we plan on moving forward with.
Yeah, and I mean, this is still a cool system. I mean, really,
We improved it on the new stuff, but yeah,
there's not a whole lot that's that far out of the box and innovative. Since I've been in this industry, I haven't seen anything else really that unique.
All right, so here we have the Alpha mount. This is kind of one of the more anticipated items that we had this year. We announced it last year. We've been working on it all year. There's a couple things we're doing with this that are a little unique compared to other mounts. And I'll start with the biggest one is the way that our lockout system works. So normally you either have a force to overcome. I think in the KDEX you have a force to overcome one way and then you have a lockout the other way.
Yeah.
For us, it's a lockout and then a force to overcome. So you have a ball detent in here. So when you go to pull this down, it doesn't move. You have to actually pull it. But if you don't depress this, it won't release. So we did that because everybody knows over time these mounts wear out. They get flimsy.
Yeah.
So that ball detent takes up all of that and it keeps it rigid. So when you're running around, your night vision's not doing this, you don't get the death wobble or death rattle. So that's a huge thing that we did on this. This is removable, so if you were to disassemble this and pull this out and put it back together, it would just function as a force to overcome mount.
Yeah.
Another thing is the way our release mechanism works. So when you clip that in, the way you release this, it's ambi. You can do either side with one finger. You press down and pull back, and it comes right out.
Nice.
We have 1.65 inches of travel, so you got a really long travel on this. If you're like wearing a gas mask or something like that, you have
1.6 inches is huge.
You have your pitch control like usual, so you rotate that and it pitches up and down. You have your vertical sled, and then you have these little set screws here. These are set at the factory. There's nylon tipped on the bottom so they don't mar up the material.
Yeah.
And what that does is it eats up any of that little slop that you get. You don't get that slop.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth. And
It's eating up all the tension.
Yeah, so if you wanted though, you can lock these down. So if you set this and you don't change it at all, you can lock it. So it's not
cool.
going to move it. It's not going to rattle. It's going to be solid. And the last thing we did is we have these rubber bumpers in the back. This gives you 3 to 4 points of contact in any shroud. and the bottom two are removable. You can pluck them right out.
Oh, cool.
So if it's too tight, you can pull them out. But what you want to do is you want to put this in the mount and compress it till it latches. And this is rock solid. This will not move in the mount.
That's awesome.
The last thing is it's powered. So this isn't the powered version, but we will release a powered version. And these can be upgraded into that. It's the same exact mount. It has to be sent in to be converted over for those that are interested.
What's it going to power?
So on the top of the dovetail shoe of all of our goggles, we have a hole and a pocket underneath. So we're going to have an insert that sits down and a plug that goes in the battery port, so that when you clip this on, it powers your night vision and no cables. And you can plug the cable right into your powered rail if you're using like a Calvion or a aux port.
Yeah.
Or just right to your battery pack.
Cool. That's not really a thing for most of our customers, but it may be in the future.
No one has released a powered mount to the consumer market, so that's why we did it.
Cool.
It's not a new thing. Others have done it, but it's never been really released.
I mean, well, the Anvis mounts have been around forever.
Well, those, yes. Think of it like that, but it's on a dovetail.
Yep.
The last thing is we have a breakaway. You have a lockout, you have a breakaway, and then of course your release.
That's cool. I like that.
430 MSRP.
Ooh, that's nice.
And I don't know if I mentioned the weight, so this is slightly less than half the weight of a G24. So if you put two of these on a scale, a G24 is going to be a little heavier.
That's insane. All right, so tell me about these your different pano options going on here.
So you've got the Chimaera bridge, which everybody's used to.
Yep.
We've done some changes to this, so there's two available now. There's the powered version, which has a CR123A on board with a push-button cap like the Katana.
Yeah. Wasn't that government sales only for a while?
We were going to do that, and then the unit we were developing this with said, yeah, it's fine, you can sell it commercially, so we are. So you've got a couple things that we did specifically. We call this the SOCOM bridge. You've got a Fisher port on the bottom, but the plate can be removed, and you can put a 00B Limo like we use on all our other products. It's lower profile and slimmer. So like if you were to shoot with a magnified optic with this, you can strike this, which sucks. So a lower profile connector is better. But if you're running a red dot or whatever, it's fine. Or just stow it up.
Yeah.
Or a slick bottom. You can do a slick bottom too. You get 10 to 12 hours of runtime out of this. And you're in the cold, it's going to be worse than that. But
yeah.
Same shoe as the full Chimaera, so these are interchangeable.
Okay.
Both bridges, you could get either one. This bridge will be $2,900. We're locked into that price because of government contracting.
Yeah.
This one's still $2,500, like normal. This is a little heavier. This is about the same weight as the original GPME G18 bridge. This one's a weight savings. Both are full aluminum construction with some steel components as well. The shoes are now aluminum shoes instead of the polymer shoes.
I like that.
You got auto shut off when you stow, and we've added a detent. So when they're stowed up, they detent upright and they detent down.
Yeah, I like
so
that a lot.
If you're jumping out of an aircraft or you're in a boat, it doesn't fold on you from impact from wake or when you pull the shoe.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with the Chimaera bridge. We still have the Lindu, we have the GPM and G18, and then now we have, and the Ambus 10, and then we have our goggle now. So 2.5 years in the making, we finally have it. We have the optics. These are RPO 4.0 eyepieces. That's what we're going into production with. This will be available as a full goggle with optics included for $8,500.
No tubes.
No tubes. At the price of the tubes. So you're going to, entry level is like $15,000. That comes with the bridge and all that. Assembly, we've done some unique things with assembly for these. When you insert the tube, it automatically sets 0 diopter. So you don't need to work with a castle nut or shim things or anything like that. You just press it in, put the locking ring in, and you're done. Collimating, the objective assembly is assembled outside the goggle. It's put in, and then you put set screws in loose. There's a tool that you just stick over this that interacts with these notches, and you can see through it. So you can just rotate that until it's aligned, then tighten the screws, and you're done.
Nice. There's
no wiggle or wobble in these. These are solid, so you're not gonna have a shift when you tighten everything down. The other thing is with the setting 0 diopter, if for some reason the tubes you're installing are not playing well with that system that's in there, there's a secondary. So it's a spring washer that when you compress the tube onto it, will move, allow the tube to move, and then once you reach 0, you just stop. And that'll be your...
What are you tightening down with the tube lock ring on this side?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And to stop the tube from rotating, there's an insert and a slot.
Yeah,
So
like
the
keyway, like
yeah,
normal.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, the unique thing about the optics on this is these are the newest optics to come to the market, that of the lightweight optics. Um, these have a bigger eye box, a 28 millimeter eye relief. The blend between the images is nice, so you don't have a line between the two. It's actually a blended image. You still get a figure eight, but you don't get a hard line. And you get less vignetting around the edge as well. And you guys
With
are
the
happy.
4.0.
I'm
The
happy to
4.0,
use-
the 4.0 I've seen is very similar to the 2.0.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of the 2.0 eyepiece. I have a couple binos that I've ferreted away 2.0 eyepieces and put 3.0 objectives on them, and that's like my favorite setup. The 4.0 is just kind of an improvement, and from my perspective, an improvement on
It is.
a slight improvement on the 2.0.
Yeah, I'm
So it's
happy
cool
to
y'all are
be-
using that because that is a good eyepiece.
I'm very happy about that. I mean, people were complaining about how long this was taking, but what people don't understand is the design of a panoramic goggle is based on the eyepiece.
Yeah, and nobody wants. Yeah,
So we
It's
went
not
through
that
multiple
simple.
vendors to try to get a good eyepiece. Actually, making it is not hard. It's finding a vendor to supply you the eyepiece that's not already doing something with somebody else.
yeah.
Or who can actually produce the optics. Like sometimes you get into, there's a new optic and they're going to be available, but they take a long time. We found
Or they
these are
show
in
up and they're
production.
not actually any good.
Or that too. We had that too. So we're finally here. We found optics we're happy with. We want this to be the best it can be, and we're happy with this.
It looks pretty good, man. I like it. I'm excited to get one in my hands. I'm gonna put my tubes in one for sure.
So in roughly 3 months, we'll have samples that we can send out.
Okay.
Production will be the vendor that does the injection molding for us. They told us about 12 weeks until we hit T0 parts, which are the first parts off the machine. So I'd say 14 weeks because I need a little bit of time to get the blueprints finished.
Yeah.
And then I'd say double that till we're going to receive production parts. And shortly after that, we'll be in production. The optics we'll already have ready to go. So you can expect these in Q3. I
Nice.
know we always give timelines. I'm trying to buffer it, so expect Q3, Q4 for this to actually be out and available for purchase. But for DoD and LE, if they're looking for samples, they can reach out to us and we can get machine samples made for them to do evaluations.
Okay. Cool. What about for me?
For you,
What about me samples?
we'll see.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
I'm gonna be the last person to get one. It's okay.
That's not true.
It's all right. I saw it. I touched it. It's cool.
Real, it works. Hold on.
Yeah,
Here,
no,
let me
it's
prove
it does work. What else do we need to talk about? I think that's it, huh?
That's all we have that's new. Here, Lou.
You got a lot of shit that's new.
Real.
Yeah, it works. Well, thank you for your time, Jeff.
Of course, man.
It's good to see you as always, and we look forward to getting some of this stuff in our office to evaluate it, do videos on it, and start selling it, get it out to the customer.
Yep, we're excited as well. It's good to have you guys here. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Y'all, thanks for coming, watching, following along. Go subscribe, whatever. You know what to do. See you on the next one.